If you're a massage therapist who wants to start their own business, but you are totally freaked out on where to even start and you're so scared to take that leap, this video is for you. So, my name is Jessica. I've been a massage therapist for about 10 years now, but I recently made a big move. And so I no longer take in-person clients and I only am online to help other massage therapists build their businesses. So, I have multiple courses and a membership if you're interested in more. But I just got off a call with a colleague who was giving really good advice around starting your own business and how you just kind of have to take that leap. So I felt inspired to make this video. So, first things first, if you are either in school or you're fresh out, this is the perfect time to be thinking about starting your own business. So, when I was in school, I was only focused on getting the bodywork techniques down. I was so focused on learning the anatomy and doing all that stuff, which I don't regret, but when I graduated and got into the real world, I was like, oh, like, how do I start my own business? Like, I was so scared. And so I initially went and worked for a chiropractor for 8 months and kind of built up my business on the side. So that is actually what I recommend to do. And that's what my friend was just kind of giving the advice on for my membership as well. I think a lot of people think it's all or nothing, and it doesn't have to be like that. So, if you are working for a spa or for a chiropractor or wherever you are working, if you can try to rent a room just part-time on the side to start to get that clientele starting to build up, I think that is the best case scenario. So, I personally was lucky, and there was something called Well Spaces in San Diego that they allowed you to rent the room just by the hour, even. So I actually just started with renting the room 2 days a week for like 4 hours each time to try to fill up my schedule that way. And I was a very risk adverse person. So it was. I'm telling you, it was so scary to start my own business. I was just, you're constantly wondering where the next client is going to come from. And when you're first starting out, you don't have a huge, list of clients to come in. So it can be very scary. And so I don't want you to think I'm saying just get over it and do it. But at some point, you get to this point where you're like, okay, if I want to make a change, like I have to be okay with sitting with the uncomfortability of uncertainty. So when you're starting your own business, you can't predict exactly how much you're going to make. But the thing is you can always go back to that spa. You can always go back to that chiropractor if things don't work out. Like that's worst case scenario is you just end up back where you were. So just trying to keep that in mind when you're starting to go off on your own is key. So, first things first, find a room that you can rent even just 1 day a week, 1 to 2 days a week, I'd say, because sometimes it can be hard to, when you're trying to gain clientele, if you're only available on Mondays from 12 to 4, it can, be hard for clients to find you and to really start to fill your schedule. But so I'd say 1 to 2 days a week if possible. And you can always also connect with another massage therapist and maybe share a room. I've seen even people like 3 to 4 people sharing a room. They each just have it 1 day. So that's limiting the overhead. You don't want to go, I wouldn't recommend going and just full time renting a room unless you have the money to do that, because it's just unnecessary. You're not going to be there the whole time when you're first starting and trying to build your clientele. So, first things first is you need a room. And once you have that, I personally am the biggest fan of promoting yourself online. So, Instagram is my go-to. It's what completely booked out my business. Less than I had less than 1,000 followers for sure when I first started gaining clients from Instagram. So you don't have to have some huge following, especially now. So I created my Instagram back in 2018, and that was when I was really trying to gain clients. And now it's like people go to Instagram to find their hairstylist, to find a good restaurant, to find a massage therapist, chiropractor, you name it. So people nowadays are so much more open to finding you online. So I am just the biggest fan of being on Instagram because you can just put yourself into front of a ton of people. If you're more of a TikTok person, I think that's good too. I've had clients find me through TikTok, even though I'm not as active on there. So whatever your social media preference is, maybe it's even Facebook, just being on one of those platforms and posting videos. So my friend that I just interviewed for the membership, he was talking about he's gained a huge following on Instagram, and he said he was starting to get with way less followers, he was starting to get 5 new bookings a day just from Instagram. And so it's just so powerful how many people can find you on there, and videos where you can make that client feel it is going to fill your books quicker than anything else, quicker than a static picture with a long caption about all the benefits of massage and why you need to get a massage. Like, nobody is going to read that if there's not also something enticing them, something showing your work, what they're going to receive when they come to see you. A lot of people too just like to feel comfortable with their practitioner before seeing them. So even just seeing what you look like and your office and kind of like your vibe. So I think videos are just like, you just have to do it. I think in this industry specifically, if you're in a different industry, even hairstylists, I think, can kind of get away with not having videos because they can kind of just show before and afters. But massage, yes, there's some postural differences that you can do before and afters on, but really just seeing the work is everything. So, picking one area of the body to work on at a time. So, when I first started, I would record the entire 60-minute session and then I'd go break that up. And I don't recommend doing that because it's hard to have a 60-minute video load enough to be able to cut it down a ton. So that part alone was a nightmare. But B, you don't want these long videos. You want them to be like 20 seconds or so. I think Instagram is kind of coming back around where the longer videos are doing better. But for the most part, everyone is scrolling all day. They don't have time. And Instagram judges your engagement off of how long somebody stays on the video. So yes, likes and shares and all that stuff matter too. But if you have a 15-second video and people watch up to 12 seconds of it, that's really good odds. If that same video you made it 45 seconds and people only watch to 12 seconds, that's showing Instagram that this video might not be that engaging. So you want people to stay on the video for longer. So thinking of how to cut things down so that you're cutting to the chase and you're making people want to stop scrolling to watch it. So I always recommend one body part, one area to work on. So maybe pick the top 3 issues you see in your practice. For me personally, that was like neck pain, low back issues, and then shoulder issues. So I started posting a lot of those kinds of videos. Some of them I was maybe teaching the client, like, did you know you have this many muscles in the forearm that connect to the elbow, and that could be the issue, because I was trying to gain clients that wanted to learn more. But you don't have to teach. You can just make the video look amazing. That brings me to my next point is quality does matter, but I would rather you just get started and then you can fine tune the quality later. So stop waiting for things to be perfect to start recording. I know a lot of massage rooms are pretty dark, and so that's not the best lighting for us. But you can make it work. So get like a little ring light if you need to. Once you start recording and if you really enjoy doing it, then you can start maybe, renting a studio to film in or getting better equipment. But I don't recommend starting with buying a ton of equipment. So I always recorded all of my videos just with an iPhone, and so do most of the massage therapists I know. So you can get really good quality videos just with an iPhone. I think that if anything, the angles matter more and the editing. So cutting to the chase, not uploading yourself walking around the table, putting oil on, doing the same stroke a million times. Like, say I'm going to post a video of working on the forearms. I'm just going to post, say, like, I normally do this stroke like a ton of times. I'm only going to show it like 3 times tops, and then I'll move on to the next one because just put yourself in someone else's shoes. Like, if you're a stranger to them and they don't know you at all, like, think of how quickly they might end up scrolling past you. And I don't say this to bring any fear of like, you got to catch their attention, but you kind of do because it's great how many people are online and how many businesses can be built online, but at the same time, that means people are constantly being bombarded with information. So how can you set yourself apart? Even if it's like a text at the beginning, kind of announcing what the video is going to be about, that always helps. So even if it's something simple like, do you have low back pain? If you do, this video is for you. Or if you have low back pain, it could be coming from your glutes, like something really simple. So think of trying to talk about 1 to 3 things. If you want to show self-care tips, try to keep it under 5. So I always liked the number 3. I would teach you 3 things to foam roll your back or 3 ways to stretch your glutes. So I think once you get into the 5, it kind of gets redundant and just takes too long. So those are the steps so far. So getting a room, and even if that's sharing with another massage therapist, and then starting to film your sessions. And eventually you can upgrade to getting a ring light and getting all that stuff. And if you need more help on Instagram, I have a full course on that if you're interested. But it doesn't have to be perfect to get started. So my videos started with me filming myself working on my friend in my living room. So if you go to my Instagram and scroll all the way down to the bottom, I will always keep those videos up because I'm actually proud of how far I've come from those. But I would have never gotten far if I didn't start doing it. Once you start editing and start filming, you just kind of start to get better. So you just have to get started. And then the last thing I want to leave you with is if you are kind of like, okay, I want to film my sessions, but I don't have anyone to film, like, do I film my clients? Like, is that awkward? So I highly recommend filming a friend or a family member, somebody you're comfortable with at first, because it can be kind of awkward being on camera, even though you don't have to be talking at all. It can just be you working. And if you have any type of insecurities about your body and you don't really want to be in it or you don't want your face in it, there's totally ways that you can reposition the camera so it's just showing the angle of your hand. So that's really the most important thing. I personally always showed my body still because I was trying to, at some point, teach other massage therapists like body mechanics and stuff. But if your main goal is to gain clients, like you don't have to do that. You just have to make the video look appealing and make them want to book with you. So that's the real goal. So people overcomplicate it and they start to, compare their videos with my videos where I'm trying to teach other massage therapists. And your client doesn't care whether you're using your elbow or your knuckle. So I've seen other massage therapists kind of try to mimic those videos and they're like, "Oh, these are the 3 tools I use for neck work." But it's like that works if you're trying to talk to other practitioners, but if you're just trying to fill your schedule with clients, like your client doesn't care if it's your elbow or your knuckle. They just want it to feel good and they want to get out of pain. So kind of reminding yourself of that and coming back to your goals of just trying to fill your schedule and wanting to gain more clients. And then if you so let's get back to, so I don't recommend just filming a full paying client, especially at first. So I recommend either giving some type of discount, and especially if you're starting your own business and you don't have a lot of clients yet, that means you have more time probably. So if you're working for a spa 4 or 5 days a week, like I get it, it sucks to have to work 6 days a week, but when you're first starting out, that's just kind of what you have to do. I used to work 7 days a week all the time when I was first starting to just try to fill my schedule. So even if you are renting that room 1 day a week and you don't have anyone booking with you, use that time to film your sessions. So that still is being productive in your business. Figure out a way to be productive in your business on that day that you're renting the room. So I definitely think working on like a family or friend is better unless that's going to make you feel more uncomfortable. So I do think doing discounted sessions is a way to fill your schedule as well as getting content at the same time. Something that I wish I would have started doing sooner that I didn't was just waiting till the very end of the session to actually film. So I used to kind of film the entire session, and then I was constantly having to move the camera around the room, and it just was kind of awkward. And so instead, towards the end of like in the last few years, I started just giving the person the session, and then the last 10 or 15 minutes, I would set up the camera. And it's almost like acting in a way, like you might have to have the camera. Like there's been times where the camera is literally like almost touching me because I want that angle. I would never normally work like that with trying to squeeze past something, but for the video, it's worth it. So I think either doing the video work before or after the session actually helps you feel like, okay, my client actually got a good session, and then I got some content on top of it. So I never actually had anybody film or sign any type of filming consent because I never filmed anybody without them knowing it before they came in. So I got really lucky, and this is something you can do as well. I had a lot of friends who were personal trainers who they would train me and then I would work on them. And then they didn't mind if I filmed it. So it was kind of like a trade, but I was getting content as well. So I think that's a great route to go, which brings me to my very last point. If you are trying to build a business, obviously building your clientele is everything. And if you are completely like overwhelmed with being online and you just don't want to do it, then I would recommend you going around to local gyms, um, maybe a Pilates studio or yoga studio or some type of like Orange Theory or CrossFit, something where members are paying a little bit higher of a price and that they value their health enough to do that because they're probably more likely the clients that are going to invest in their self-care as well. So I would go into one of those gyms. I would go into a few of those gyms depending on how quickly I was trying to fill my schedule. And I would ask the front desk if I could talk to maybe some of the top trainers there or the instructors and either offer them a discounted session or I don't ever recommend just giving out your sessions for free, obviously. But if you're trying to build your business, sometimes that's what you have to do because you're brand new and like, why would they give you a shot if they're already going to Susie down the street, you know? So sometimes giving away your work for free or for discounted is actually beneficial, but you just want to make sure it's going to benefit you. So finding a personal trainer who already has a clientele that they're seeing constantly. A lot of these personal training clients, they want the self-care tips as well, and they want to find a massage therapist to go to. So really, you're just helping out the trainer by being a good resource. So I would probably offer some free or discounted sessions to the trainers. Maybe you can even ask if you can film them. I would ask if I could set up my table at the front and give little like 10-minute demos to their members walking in and out, and a way that you can make this beneficial for you instead of just giving out 10-minute sessions to people that are never going to book. You can let them know if they book with you today, they can get $20 off or whatever discount you want. Um, I think people lowball themselves a lot when they first start. A lot of massage therapists don't feel comfortable charging what they're actually worth or what others would be charging for their work. So, what I mean by that is if you start working for a spa, they're going to charge their clients sometimes $200 for an hour. So, they're only paying you maybe $30 out of that, but they're charging that person $200. So if somebody's paying that, that means that you are worth more than you're probably charging. So I definitely undercharged when I first got out. I think in 2016, 17, I was charging like $60 or something. And then I finally had a client come in and she was like, I found you on Instagram. I was so excited to see you. But then I noticed you were so cheap. And so I honestly didn't know if you were going to be any good. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I went home that night and I think that's when I went from like 60 or 70 to 100 because I was just like, we don't want people thinking we're not good and that's why we're so cheap. I think too many massage therapists get in their head when they first start out and they're just assume that they have to charge that. And the common misconception too is massage therapists are like, oh, well, $50, $60, $75 an hour is good, but you're not accounting for the taxes you're having to pay, the overhead, the rent, the sheets, the oil, like everything else adds up. So you're not actually taking home that $75 an hour. So that's why you have to charge more so that it can equal to the $75 an hour. So I just wanted to make this quick video to give you guys some tips. I think just getting out of your own head and just being okay with feeling uncomfortable. I still feel uncomfortable because now I've left behind my in-person practice and now I'm trying to just grow my online business, which is doing well, but it's always up and down. There's always risk with having your own business. But then at the end of the day, like I can go out of town whenever I want. I can like take as much time off. I don't have to post on Instagram all the time if I don't want. Like you get to a point where when you're working for yourself, it's so freeing. And even if you're somebody who's like, I don't mind working for someone, because that's how I was. When I first graduated, I was kind of delusional. I was like, I'm just going to go work for a physical therapist or a chiropractor. And I don't mind taking, I take direction or orders really well. Like I'm not somebody who's like, I can't work for someone. But then it was just kind of like my business was born out of necessity because I was only getting paid $20 an hour from the chiropractor and that was not paying my bills. So I was kind of forced into it. But now I'm like, oh my gosh, like some of my friends where I'm like, let's go on a trip. And they're like, oh, I don't have any more time off this year. And I'm like, but what if you just block it off your schedule? And they're just like, it doesn't work like that. So I feel so blessed to have my own thing. Um, when anything in my family, like even if it's something bad that happens that they need me there for, like I'm able to be there. So I think just running your own business, like apart from just how freeing it feels and how you can help your clients the way you really want to help them, because that was the thing too, is the chiropractor wanted me to work a certain way and I kind of wanted to take my business a different way and do different type of work. So running my own business allowed me to do that. And then posting my work online started to attract those clients that wanted my work. So I wasn't having to convince them of the type of session I wanted to give them. So I just highly recommend starting your own thing. I know it's scarier than it's not as easy as it sounds, but it gets easier as you go. So I have plenty of resources. If you need some extra help, you can book a one-on-one coaching call with me. You can join my membership. I have a monthly membership where I upload bodywork techniques and business advice and different types of things like that. There's over 120 videos at this point because I've had it for 5 years. So there's plenty of you for you to dive into right when you sign up. I also have a course that teaches you how to make money online if you're to the point where you want to start your own business or start your own online stuff. That's called the MT's Guide to Making Money Online. And then I have an Instagram course that also teaches you how to really build your business using Instagram. And then finally, if all of that sounds overwhelming to you and you're just still trying to fill your schedule, then I just created a training called the Client and Income Accelerator. And it is less than 2 hour training where it teaches you all of the technique or the strategies to fill your schedule. So even if you don't want to be online, there's some great stuff in there. And then it's actually a 2 part training. So you'll learn how to fill your schedule first, and then you'll learn how to take your business online later, because I think they just go hand in hand. And I think too many massage therapists wait until they're fully booked to start making more passive income. I talk about how to do it through affiliates. Like if you're recommending products to your clients, like you're already eligible for these affiliate programs. So basically, a company will just pay you the commission to promote their product. And so if you're already giving your clients like foam rolling or the Theracane or different types of aromatherapy or something, then you can reach out to those companies and see if you can become an affiliate. So I have tons of resources for you. And if you have any questions at all, just let me know. You can leave them below or you can DM me on Instagram. It's jker_bodywork. But just know that you're going to be scared when you're first starting. It's totally normal. I've never met one entrepreneur in any industry that wasn't scared or doesn't still have fears. So if you're having fears, just know that's completely normal and it's just part of it, but it's going to be so worth it. Okay.